Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry, I'm running a couple of minutes late here. Let's get this party started. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. Get a second, let me know where you're coming from. And we will get rolling here in just one moment. Welcome. Hope you're having a great week. Thank you for the flexibility on moving this one to today. Normally these are Friday. Office hours are Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Today, Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, because my daughter is graduating from elementary school tomorrow. And of course, can't miss that. And then immediately after, she wants to go on a celebratory brunch date. So these are things that we cannot miss, obviously. So appreciate the flexibility in moving this to today, and glad that you could join me. The way Office Hours works, just so we're on the same page, is that these are pure Q&A, meaning I have no agenda for you. So you just got to punch in your questions, and I will do my very best to answer them. And I'm also going to put in a link here. If anybody wants to come on the live stream and actually talk, then we can do that as well. So if you've got a longer question, more involved question, something that's hard to get across, the nuance of in chat, then you can come on here and we can get you on camera and we can have a conversation. Otherwise, you can put your questions in the chat and I will grab them there in the order that I see them. Welcome. Hello, John. Good to see you. Hello. Good to see you. What's up, Don? You're a good dad. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I enjoy my babies. And this is my youngest. So this is my last one in elementary school. So can't miss that. What's up, John? Good to see you. And she's excited about it. But, it's cute. She is aware that she's the baby in the family. And she feels like, hey, wait a minute, I might be losing my baby status, because she's leaving elementary school and going to middle school. And, she saw her sisters do that, and she understands that this is definitely a transition time where, she's going to start being a bigger kid. And that's already started, actually, definitely here in the last 6 months. But, in my experience, that transition to middle school is definitely that's a major one. And so she is, she's aware of that. So I've had to encourage her, that, hey, you'll always be the baby, right? You'll always be the baby. It doesn't matter that you're getting older. So, all right, let's see here. Zach, welcome, buddy. Says, do you have any suggestions for a partnership business entity structure in California? You know what, Zach, I don't know the specifics of California enough to really say, that you should definitely do this or that. I think that, for the most part, having an LLC is a great idea for smaller entrepreneurs. And an LLC is more of a kind of a partnership structure. You can actually file an LLC in a number of different ways, but it pretty much has the flexibility to kind of handle just about any scenario that you want, in my experience, without as much of the overhead of a C Corp. And you can, like I said, you can approach it with a great deal of flexibility, because you can kind of write some of your own operating agreement and things like that, in ways that typically just have more flexibility than a C Corp. So that's probably what my guess is that you're going to end up going that route. But certainly, it's always a good idea to, talk to somebody to make sure that that's really where you want to head. I do think, Zach, with a number of the incorporation services that are out there now, you can get good enough advice to make a decision on these types of things without spending a fortune on attorney's fees, though, because unfortunately, a lot of attorneys that you talk to, you're not going to get good, clear answers. Like, they know that they can just kind of drag the thing out and charge you a bunch and all that type of stuff. Not an S corp, but an LLC. Yeah, I think I'm almost sure, Zach, that that's most likely the direction that you want to go. I mean, I would think it would be an LLC or a C corp, but typically with smaller businesses, where you're not getting a bunch of outside investors and things like that, LLC is the way almost everybody. The way almost everybody I know goes at this point. Okay. John says, having trouble with my own marketing. Seems difficult to run online ads when companies aren't really aware that they need these services, so they do not search for them. Yeah, John, absolutely. I think that's a very, very good point. And I believe John is referring to agency services, so offering digital agency services to businesses. So yeah, this is a really, really important point. This is not a service that the majority of businesses are sitting down and searching for, although, it happens. But it is typically a service that you have to go out and proactively market and sell. And so if you are running ads that are search ads, John, then you're going to have a very, very, very low volume. Could be a very highly qualified volume, which can be nice. So when I was in the IT services business, the search volume for IT support and IT services was very small, but it was very qualified. And so by dominating Google AdWords, which we did for a period of time with my IT services business related to those keywords, we did really well because they were very highly qualified searches. So we would convert a high number of them, but it was still low volume. So with a service like an agency service, though, you really need to be doing educational content-based marketing where you are proactively reaching out to the marketplace with some value and pulling people then into your universe, because the content that you're creating and putting out there in the form of ads, right, has value and is intriguing and is educating your marketplace. And so, one, that means doing that, again, that proactive content-based, educational-based marketing, very important. But two, being realistic, and this is absolutely critical because so many people in the agency business get this wrong. They think unfortunately, a lot of people are being sold right now that it's an easy money business. Just go out there and you're going to have a whole bunch of customers overnight, and you're going to be a millionaire and all that good stuff. The reality is that it's one, a competitive marketplace, and two, that for the most part, the sales cycle is longer than most people expect. And the reasons why are exactly, John, what you're alluding to there, and that a lot of businesses don't even know that they want this stuff, or don't even know that your services exist. And so they oftentimes don't know what they don't know. So they need some education first, which then extends the sales cycle. Okay, this is not true in every case. Of course, there's lots of businesses out there that are aware that they need help, and they do know what they need help with specifically. And so they're going to be more receptive to making a faster decision, or maybe they're even proactively out there searching. But the majority of businesses, I don't believe that is the case. And so you have got to build your own pipeline by building your own presence of content out there. So no, just running search ads is not going to do a whole lot for you. All this being said, John, I would say as well is, depending on the niche that you are targeting, there are going to be businesses, or there are going to be niches that are already very aware of the services that are out there, and they are further along in terms of their education. Now, that probably also means that you're going to have a lot more competition in those markets, right? Dentists and chiropractors have been being sold marketing agency services forever. Roofers have been being sold marketing agency services forever. Home contractors have been being sold lead generation services forever. Okay, so those industries, if you start talking to any of those today, they are going to be very well aware already of, hey, there are these service providers out there that are trying to sell me X, Y, and Z. Okay, so what that means is sometimes you can get them to make decisions very quickly because they're already very well aware of the options. They've probably already tested options, all that good stuff. You also, though, are going to have a ton of competition, and your message is probably going to have a harder time getting through because the competition out there has all been pitching in a very, very similar way, right? Go ask a doctor or a dentist that's been in business for 10 years how many times they've received a message from somebody saying they can make them rank higher in the search engines. I mean, it's probably like literally 20 times a week they hear that pitch. So, John, you've got to go out there and proactively market. You've got to build that opportunity pipeline by building your presence as a thought leader, as a guide in the marketplace. That is definitely the case. Okay. Hey there, Mr. Cooch, what are your thoughts regarding building out our own Go High Level agency with our own customers versus a business model like you have coaching and training and others have to do it? Well, first of all, if you don't have any experience building an agency, then don't be in the business of coaching and training other people how to do it, right? That would be dumb. So I know that there are people out there right now that are actually selling this. This is when you know that the market is going to start to go to shit. When the market is going to start to go to hell in a handbasket, is there's enough people circling and sniffing money that now they're selling their system on how you can be an agency coach or consultant, coaching other people on a high level, just like sign up for my program and you can just repeat the things that I say and stuff like that. I mean, come on, right? Like if you don't actually have experience in that space, then don't coach or consult in that space. That's how coaches and consultants get terrible reputations. That's how information marketers get terrible reputations, right? So I've been selling to small businesses for 20 years, right? Like I feel confident and comfortable that I can add value. And so that's why I'm in this business, and I enjoy it, right? So that's why I'm in this business. So if you do not have that background and history, don't do it. Now, I want to be clear though, that does not mean that you can't coach and train people on how to use high level. You can do that. And you could provide some support services, some customization services, things like that. That's a great opportunity because there are lots and lots of people who need help with pressing the buttons in high level. And that's something I spend very little time on. Not that I don't know how to do it. I do know how to do it. I use high level all day, every day for my own businesses. I'm in this sucker up to my eyeballs every day. So I know it inside and out. I don't want to base my business around teaching people how to press the buttons and turn the knobs in high level. That's not for me, but that might be for you. And you could get up to speed in a position where you could help people with that within 30 days. I mean, my gosh, if anybody was looking for a quick, relatively easy way to start making money in the high level community, it's that. Like, just dive in with both feet and get really good at high level and offer to help people because, man, there are a ton of people that need help just using the system. So you could do that. Building your own agency is a totally different model, totally different business. That is, of course, what I think the far majority of people should be doing with high level is building their own agency. And really, I think to answer your question, Convertible, and to answer anybody's questions related to this type of thing, who do you want to serve? Right? Who do you want to serve? That's a super important first question, because you're going to be working with these people. You're going to be dealing with them. You need to be passionate about them and their problems and helping them. Okay. And then 2, looking at the actual dynamics of the business model. What do you want to be doing, enjoy doing, things like that, right? So as an example, if you're setting up an agency, the way that I would suggest you set up an agency, you should be able to bring customers on, generate recurring revenue, and build up a base of recurring revenue so that you have a really nice, solid, largely automated, income stream coming in after a period of time. It takes you a while to get there, for sure. Versus if you're doing some sort of support, coaching, consulting, things like that for people on how to use high level, you're probably going to be doing less of the recurring, more of the kind of one-on-one. Not to say that you can't package it up as recurring, you can, but it's going to be a little bit more of a time-based service. It's not automation. It's here's how to use this system. So that's going to create 2 different lifestyles for you, right? I always recommend that you look at what would the business look like 5 years from now if I made it successful, right? And in the first version that I described, you could have, let's say, a low 6 figures a month in automated recurring revenue. And in the other version, you're probably, spending most of your time on calls with customers, doing some sort of coaching, Zoom calls, things like that. Maybe you've built up a little team that can help you with that, but that's going to be more the nature of that business. Which one is going to create the life that you want? I think that that's incredibly important. And then finally, of course, just what problems do you feel that you can solve, right? If you feel like, hey, I can solve the problem of people trying to use high level better than I can solve the problem of small businesses, getting better marketing, then, you can make a decision based on that as well. I mean, I believe that just about anybody can learn the skills necessary to do any of those things. Just a matter of putting in the hard work. So it's primarily who do you want to serve, and does that business model build something that you actually want? Way too many people build a business that they end up hating. I did a video on that recently. It's terrible. I know so many people have done that because all they're thinking about at the beginning typically is money, right? I gotta sell something, make some money, which I get. But if you build something and make some money doing something that you really don't like to do, it becomes a trap, just like a job does. Okay. Zach says, besides the Welcome Mat Lead Gen PowerPoint and Boomerang PowerPoint, are there other presentations available that I might be able to use in the Lunch and Learn Chamber of Commerce presentation? Yeah, Zach, there are, the R4 presentation, I think is where I would start. So there's the R4 presentation that goes through the 4 R's and what they are and what they mean and how they impact your business and why you should optimize them and all that good stuff. I have a number of other presentations related to other services that are a little bit more outdated, ones on retargeting, things like that you can just update some of the statistics around. But I would start with the R4. I think that's probably your best bet. And that R4, Zach, could be very easily broken down into 4 separate presentations, right? Take each of the R's and just make each of those a presentation as well. Brian, welcome, sir. I have a SaaS sub to Go High Level. How do I set up my agency in Go High Level? A sub account? Yes, that's right. And how do I charge my first clients who get services basically pro bono? Do they have to pay Go High Level's minimum package rate? No, Brian. So you control the pricing. You control the pricing on your service structure. Okay. So if you were to set up packages that you are selling via High Level's SaaS configurator, then yes, you have that minimum price from High Level built in there, $97 a month. So if you're bringing them in through that SaaS configurator and that's the way that you're charging them and that's the way you're setting up the packages, then yes. But you could set up packages. I mean, I could just give you a login to a sub account, Brian, tomorrow, and just here, man, go crazy. Use the sub account. I mean, nobody would be the wiser that I wasn't charging you a penny, right? So, if you bill them through any other billing mechanism other than the SaaS configurator, so I mean, literally, you just you could send them a PayPal invoice or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You can charge them whatever price you want. So, but yes, you set up your agency as a sub account on the system. So you'll be running your business just like any other business right there on High Level. Okay. So I hope that helps you. Let me know if you have any questions there, Brian. Where's the most current content to see the PowerPoint presentations? Teachable, Circle, other, also specific course. Most current is going to be in High Leverage Agency in each of the service blueprints is where you're going to find sales and marketing materials. Okay, so each of the service blueprints inside High Leverage Agency. Okay, exactly. Yeah, exactly. What is up, Charles and Linda? Good to see you guys. Yeah, Zach, I will do a post inside of Circle. Okay. Awesome, Brian. Good. All right. I've already gone through all the questions that are here. We can't have that, gang. We're only 25 minutes into the call. Put some more questions in there. Let me know I can help you. Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Hopefully you have a question. If you do, fire it in there. I can help you with it. Or I can try to. I have been, High Leverage Agency is, here, let me see if I have a banner for it. If I don't, we will make one real quick. Yeah, I don't. Look at that. Let's just do this real quick. servicesatscale.com/HLA. HLA. Okay, that's High Leverage Agency. In terms of where you actually log in to get it, if you have access to it, that's at courses.servicesthatscale.com. Okay, courses.servicesthatscale.com is where you log in to actually access any program that you've invested in through us. Okay, courses.servicesthatscale.com. And that is using the high level membership area. That's what we're using for all of our courses now. We eat our own dog food. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Good questions. Here we go. Working on my version of a TSD model, 8,000 local email list. Awesome. Starting Facebook and IG pages. When should I start charging? Base my rates against local advertising. I would start charging right now. I mean, heck, if you've got 8,000 local email lists and you're sending out to that newsletter, that, you can definitely start charging for that. Base your rates on local advertising rates. It depends on who's in your market. You may not be able to find anything that's really comparable to what you're doing. I recommend when you're this small, I recommend that you just pick one of the commonly acceptable small business pricing numbers and just start charging for it, honestly. So $297, $197, $97, $497, things like that, right? So if I was selling a promotional banner, or placement or whatever in my newsletter, and I had 8,000 people, $297, that type of thing. So it's a small enough number that people can afford it. There's nobody that's spending $297 on advertising that is going, let me check the CPMs and how that compares to running an open Facebook ad to 8,000 people, in my market. Like, it's $297. It's like, just either spend the money or don't, right? So that's what I recommend. Just keep it, just stupid simple and make it just easy to, here's the price, buy it or don't buy it and move on. Do you have like 5 steps to starting a business Instagram page to help build my own reputation in my local community? I do, Zach. You have access to it because of the all access pass that you have access to. It is called local Instagram quick start and local Instagram. Oh shoot, what is the other one? It's not, so I've got a few of them. Zach, if you just look at my local Instagram, you'll see quick start is like just the basics of understanding quick Instagram. You'll see prospecting system is how to use Instagram to prospect and sell. It's not either of those. It's the other one, but I'm just forgetting the name right now. And that will give you a good solid foundation. Speaking of Instagram, I'm gonna do a little content post about this here pretty quickly, because if you're following our There San Diego Instagram account, you will have seen that we've had, or maybe you won't have noticed, but I noticed, we've added about 5,000 followers in the last 2 weeks, which that's big growth for us. That's somewhere around 15% growth just in the last 2 weeks. And the reason why is Reels. We've been doing almost all of our content now is Reels. But the specific reason why, and this is something that anybody can find a way to mimic in your local market. Yeah, thanks, Charles and Linda. Yeah, it's been fun to watch. The engagement is crazy too. And what is working, and I give credit to my social media managers, they figured out a little formula here that if they do a post that's got a little bit of a fun to debate or kind of hot to debate local issue, and they do a reel on that, then it gets people engaged enough that they start debating it in the comments, and that makes it then take off in the algorithm. So this thing is just getting tons and tons of momentum because people are commenting like crazy on it. We have a couple of these now. So complaining about the weather, right? Because the weather here in San Diego this year has not been San Diego weather. And so we put up a couple posts where we were kind of bitching about the weather, and it's just sparked an endless debate about, is the weather actually good or bad? Get your whiny ass out of San Diego if you can't handle it. I'm not paying these taxes to be here. It's so funny. So there are versions of that in every community that you can come up with. This takes a little bit of creativity, but that theme is just going bananas for us. Let's see here. Brian Kellum from Howard, when setting up payments, you can set a free trial period. Yep. John says, how do you deal with domain names when you want www and the domain name without www resolved to the website? How do you deal with domain names when you want www and the domain name without www to resolve to the website? I believe what you're asking, John, is just how to set up DNS properly. Thank you, Tim. Local Instagram acceleration. That is the name of it. Thank you. That's the name of the course. So the way that you do that, or was that question? I think that was John. Yeah, that is called setting up your DNS, domain name services. And that is the last useful bit of information I can tell you about that topic. Because I handled I had my own IT management company for the better part of 10 years. And what I did was I just hired people smarter than me. And this is something that you can very, very easily, you can get onto Fiverr, you can get on anywhere and have somebody take care of this for you in 5 minutes. So I would just do that. This is not something that you need to learn how to do. Okay. Twilio verification process. Go High Level says it's mandatory, no matter if you use a Go High Level solution or Twilio directly. Waiting times are a month or longer. How do you handle new client onboarding? That is a great question. That is not something that I have experienced a month wait time to get new people on, particularly using High Levels. I don't know. Is that consistent experience for other people? Alex says, thanks for signing up. We'll wait a month. Yeah, that would not be good. And if that is the experience, Alex, I will talk to Sean Clark and get a real answer for you here. If we set up a client outside of the SaaS configuration, can we turn on rebilling, or is that only available through the set packages? Thank you very much. You have to turn that on. Well, I don't know if I'm about to lead you astray here, John, and somebody may know this better than me. So High Level adjusted their packages recently, from what I understand, so that rebilling is now possible at the agency level instead of just pro, to some limited extent or limited markup or something like that. I have not dug into the details of that. And I do not know if that then changes anything with the answer that I was about to give you. So I will just caveat my answer by saying that. The answer that I would normally give you is that you need to do that through the SaaS configurator. It's through the SaaS configurator, but actually, hold on real quick here, John. Let me just, I want to make sure I'm not getting over my skis here. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking here real quick. So you can So I think that you can set up. Just going to take a look at some other accounts that I have here real quick. Sorry, just give me 1 second here. I know I'm operating in the background. I can't see what I'm doing here, but just give me a moment. Yeah, so yes, you have to do it in SaaS mode, is the answer. I was trying to see if any of these, because you have a limit that you can set on your SMS, even if they're not in SaaS mode, but anything that you want to do with rebilling has to be done in SaaS mode. Again, I don't know. I'm on the pro version. I don't know if that has changed on the agency level or not. But my bet is that it has not, because I think ultimately they're still just they're trying to get you into SaaS, and they've just turned agency into a better step to SaaS. Many clients have a patchwork quilt of services that they already use. How are people closing deals with potential clients concerned with disruption or worried they Go High Level tries to do too much? Brian, so there's two kind of approaches to this that I think are very important for people to have in mind. Okay, the first is that just because, and this is probably the most important one, the most realistic and common one, is that just because High Level has the feature and has the capability does not mean that you have to even talk about it. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to offer it. It doesn't mean that you have to have your customers use it in any way. So the mindset of just because High Level has it there and it's in the system means that it's going to get used or has to be used or any of that type of stuff, it does not, right? So just keeping that in mind is really important, because then you can determine, okay, what is it that I'm really selling here and that I'm going to have as an option for my customers? And you can define that and be deliberate about that. So if you just said, hey, all I want to do is offer, welcome mat lead gen and SMS and universal inbox, and that's it, then pretty much you could do that, right? The second thing is to consider is if you are selling a complete marketing system or not. Okay, so if your pitch is you are selling a complete marketing system, then yes, you are looking at replacement. And replacement is definitely a more difficult value proposition for all kinds of reasons. So if that is your value proposition, then you just have to live with the negative consequences. The upside consequences of that, because I've done this, I've done both here. Like in the IT services, we were always a replacement. We came in and we took over everything. With Kutenda, with our marketing business, that was not the case. So I've done both. With the replacement model, it's harder, slower, more work, all that stuff to get the customer on board. The great thing is that the next business that comes along and tries to replace you, the customer is just not nearly as likely to make that switch. It's a pain in the neck. So when you get those customers on board, you can, with a high degree of confidence, know that you're going to have them for years. Okay, because they're all in on your systems. But if you are selling to specific services, you can get in faster, set them up faster, sell them faster, but much easier to replace you as well. So it's just, there's pros and cons of each. Okay, but I think the most important starting point there is just because High Level has it as a feature does not mean that you have to use it. Okay. The Instagram that I was referring to is just at their San Diego, THERE San Diego, at their San Diego. Said, hey, if you were to restart tomorrow, what would you do to get your first customer ASAP? Thanks. Love your content. Thank you very much. What would I do tomorrow? So if I was starting from scratch tomorrow, what would I do to get my first customer? I'm going to give you a couple of different answers because there is no one right way. And some of this depends on who you are, what you do, what you're good at, what your experiences are, all that stuff, right? If it were me and I were starting over tomorrow and I was going to get my first customers, I would hold some sort of free training and I would make sure I delivered a ton of value on that training. And I would then make an offer to people at the end of that training. That would be, the easiest, most reliable way for me to pretty much guarantee I'm going to generate some business. But, so that's me. I have, knowledge, experience, comfort level, doing presentations, know how to market to get somebody to a presentation, all that type of stuff. So that's a no-brainer for me. Let's put myself in the shoes of somebody who does not have that experience or that degree of comfort or whatever it is. I'll give you a handful of answers. One, just pick a particular market and sit my butt down with cold email, cold calls, reaching out to every person that I know and saying, hey, I am starting a new business, providing these services to these types of customers. I am very eager to demonstrate my capabilities and will give, the first 3 customers that come on board a very, very attractive opportunity to make it worth their while to take a little bit of a risk on me. and I would just pound the pavement like that. So that's something that anybody can do. It's just a matter, like I said, of just pounding the pavement, right? It's just put your head down and knock on every damn door that you can. The addition that I would add, no matter which approach that you are taking, is that I would be putting content out as much as I possibly could, demonstrating my value, demonstrating what my services can do, and trying to get that content in front of my prospects. That's something everybody should be doing. That will most likely not result in you getting a customer as fast as the other two things that I just mentioned, but it should be done. And ultimately, it will be the thing that gets you more customers in the long run than anything else that I mentioned. Okay. I hope that helps you. I think maybe the last point I would make on that is I would just make sure that whatever it was that I was selling, I could ensure that there was a strong value proposition that I could clearly communicate to whatever market I was going after. Okay. So that sounds kind of vague, which is, you bet, which is opposite of what I'm suggesting you do. So what am I suggesting? What I'm saying is that a free website and you just pay for hosting is much clearer, much easier to understand than I'm going to help you grow your business. Okay. There is nothing wrong with either of those value propositions. I am very confident that I can go out into the marketplace with I'm going to help you grow your business value proposition and do very well, because I'm comfortable backing that up then with my R4 framework, R4 process. Here's how we're going to drive this forward in terms of the sales conversation in a way that the prospects can go, oh, aha, he really can help me drive, grow my business. It's a more educational sales process. It takes a little bit longer. So there's nothing wrong with it. But usually if you're just getting started and maybe you don't have the confidence yet and stuff like that, then picking a particular service for a particular market that you know has a lot of value and can be very clearly communicated and understood quickly, I think helps a lot, because then you're not having to complicate your message. You're not having to get into longer sales cycles. It's just like, hey man, I'm looking at your website right now. Here are the 3 problems with it. Here's what I will do. I will build you a brand new professional website based on all of the best practices. Here's our 17-point checklist of the best practices that will be included in your site. Here's 3 that I've built recently that you can take a look at to see what I mean and see why they will perform better than the one that you currently have. It's no cost to you other than to pay the ongoing hosting cost of $97 a month once you have the website up and running. Like, just super simple, right? Super easy to understand. Jason says, I'm asked to build websites for friends from time to time. So I'd like to build up a local web design company. I'm good with Go High Level as well. Need leads though. What offer do you recommend I push? Jason, actually the one I just said, free websites. Free websites. And if you just go look at my training, Jason, I'm assuming you're in a high leverage agency. If you go and look at my training on offering free websites, the model is then that you then use that as your foot in the door to sell these other Go High Level services. Okay, your website needs to have lead capture on it. And so we're going to have, the missed call text back. We're going to have the welcome mat. That leads you to the universal inbox, which if you're using that, we're connecting to all your social platforms too. And if you're doing that, we've got email coming in there. Now you're paying us X dollars a month because you're paying for email and SMS to go through the system, right? So we just use that as a foot in the door to get all these other common sense features that need to be used anyway by that business. Okay. How should I start trying to find people interested? No luck with cold email content. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the nice thing about that offer is it can just be just ads, right? So just very direct in your face ads. hey, this is Jason McCoy with such and such agency, right here and wherever the heck you are. I've got a crazy offer for, small business owners. We will build you a brand new high performing website for no dollars out of pocket. That's right. Absolutely free. I know I've gone nuts, but it works for us. Here's why. When we build you an awesome new website for free, there are some costs to it. Of course, you have to continue to pay for the hosting and stuff like that ongoing. But most importantly, what we do is we get a long-term relationship with a customer that knows now that we can really help them and we can do what we say that we're going to do. It's a win for both parties. If you'd like a new website, we can only afford to do 10 of them a month. Here's how you get in touch, right? Just like a super direct pitch. And I just rattled that all off as if I was doing like a video or something, right? But that same pitch can just be done very quickly in a little text-based ad and on a landing page, all that type of stuff, right? So that's it can just be very directly marketed, Jason. I'm cutting between, do I need to learn that or delegate this? Great question, Zach. So as a business owner, Zach is asking, how do I decide between, hey, I should sit down and learn this stuff versus I should just not bother learning it and delegating it. So the example that I used earlier on this call with, I think it was John who asked about DNS. And I was like, yeah, man, just hire somebody to do DNS. Okay. So in that case, there is, I believe, really no upside value to John knowing how to do DNS. Okay. So that's why I would say, hey, just do that. Just like, there's no upside value to me cleaning my house unless I personally, get relaxation from it or whatever. And then that's fine. But otherwise, pay somebody to clean my house, because me getting really good at cleaning the house does not have any upside value. I'm not going to be a cleaner. I'm not starting a cleaning business, so there's no upside potential for me in it. Zach, when you look at your business, there are certain things that have upside potential for you very clearly. So as an example, when I started in the e-commerce business, I was a good advertiser, but I was not a good e-commerce advertiser yet. I didn't have that experience yet. And so the difference being with a good e-commerce advertiser, you're talking about very high volumes, can be oftentimes much lower dollar amounts of transactions than I was used to. And so things have to be tested and split tested and turned on and off and optimized quickly and all that good stuff. And I looked at hiring agencies to do that. And the only ones that I was confident in, where I was like, okay, these guys actually know more than me. They're actually better than me. They can do this. It was going to cost me bare minimum $35,000, $50,000 a month just to get started with them. And even with that spend, I really wasn't going to have as much budget as I wanted for the actual advertising. Like most of that was actually going to be like management fees and stuff. So I was just like, okay, this makes sense for me to really dig in and learn this. And so that's what I did. I literally was like, this is the economic engine of my business. I am just going to sit down and I'm going to master Facebook ads here for however long that takes. And so I did. And, very, very quickly went from spending $0 a day to up to $15,000 a day on Facebook ads. Like that was like within 45 days. So that has upside potential to me because now I've learned a skill that can apply to create massive growth for me in all kinds of different scenarios, right? So that's the obvious kind where it's like, okay, this could pay for me to sit and do this. And then there's the in-betweens, right? The in-betweens where it's like, it's got some upside, but it's not. Those are the hard ones, Zach. And some of that probably depends on the resources that you have. So how much can you afford to spend to delegate? And then some of that probably depends as well on the time frame that you're talking about. So like, as an example, I think that every single agency owner that is committing to building their business around high level should dig in and get to know high level. I'm not saying that you have to master every single thing about it, but you should have a really good understanding of everything that it's capable of, generally how it works, the key features, probably specifically how those work, like actually get your hands dirty in those. Like, how do I use snapshots? How do I use custom values? What are the capabilities of those things? Like, those things you should probably really dig in and learn, because you're literally saying this is going to be the foundation of my business. And the reality is, if you spend, let's just say 90 days going, man, I'm just going to be heads down on this stuff, making sure that I'm going to know it so well that I'm going to be able to delegate it really well. That, I think, is going to have exponential payoff for your business. Okay. Do you then need to keep on being the guy who's turning all the screws and pressing all the buttons in the high level? No, you do not. Then you can delegate it. Then you can say, okay, I know this inside now. Now I can direct a team, I can hire, I can train, I can do all that stuff on my own to then start scaling myself and getting the upside benefit. Okay. So, all right, cool. Good, Zach. I hope that does. It's oftentimes not as clear. And the challenge with it, Zach, I will say too, is if you get, who would you get on this call? If instead of Mike Cooch sitting here, you got some other successful entrepreneur that you admire that has probably built something 10 times the size that I have, they'll probably tell you, forget that, man. You should delegate everything. Delegate. That person has experiences and skill sets and stuff that maybe that makes that very true for them. You could listen to, though, one of my favorite entrepreneurs ever, Mark Cuban, right? Mark Cuban, billionaire, crazy hustler, crazy successful, all this stuff, right? And that guy is like, man, there is no work that's beneath me. I answer every damn email. I will learn. I will be better at everything in my business than anybody I can hire. That's my mission. I don't care what it is. That's his mindset. He's like, when I started a business where it was going to be doing computer programming, I didn't know computer programming. He's like, I sat down with textbooks and made sure I was as good at computer programming as anybody I could hire. And, so there's no right or wrong. There's right or wrong for you. What gives you the momentum that you need? And this right here, Zach, exactly. What gives you the conviction? And that is so freaking important. I'm so glad that you use that word, because for me, that's a thing. I can't sell you guys high level unless I'm freaking using high level. I know it. I love it. Like, it just doesn't work for me. If I don't have conviction, I'm not selling, period. I just don't do it. So that to me is the way I operate as well. It's like, okay, I've got to have my degree of confidence. So there's no right or wrong there. It's what you've got to do to get the momentum that you need to go out and get after it, right? And so if that's it, do it fast, go. Thank you very much, Gene. So yeah, non-pro rebuilding is available at the agency level, but has a limited markup of 5%. Cool, good to know. Have you seen any issues with setting up missed call text back for businesses in terms of having or implementing another number to manage? Rob, people complain about this all the time. It's super frustrating to me because it just doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. Like walk through the scenarios. Like we don't want to have to change our number. Okay, don't change your number. Like, we will use this number in these scenarios so that you get better data, right? And better, capabilities. And then if you don't want to change your number anyplace else, don't change your number. You can still have your number wherever you want it, right? Eventually, they're probably going to see the value of the new number and then want to use that number everywhere. I don't want to confuse our customers, right? Who the hell? Who knows your number? Nobody knows your number. I mean, like maybe there's some like 80-year-olds out there that's still like, oh, but here's my phone book with their written number in it. And what do you mean? I'm looking at another number now. Now, which one do I call? Like, oh my God, It's another number. Like who does that? Nobody. I search for the business, a number pops up, I call the number, right? Or I have them in my phone, I call the number, right? If they are in your phone already with that number, again, don't change that number. Nobody's saying that you have to get rid of that number. Just continue getting calls from that number. There's going to be a percentage of your calls that don't have our fancy smart number capabilities associated with it. Okay. So right now, none of the calls you're getting have the fancy smart number capabilities. So you would rather just not have those capabilities just because some percentage of people in the marketplace actually have your phone number programmed in someplace? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But Rob, it is a real challenge for you because if you're going out and talking to businesses, they actually, I don't want to confuse people with another number. What do you mean? Who's going to be confused? Like, tell me the scenario where somebody is confused. I saw a truck drive by and there's the number on the side of it. Well, shit, that's not the number I'm used to seeing. I came to their website and there's a phone number on it. I thought I dialed a different number a week ago, right? I searched on Google and the number came up. Like who does that? This is it's such a non-issue. It just kills me. So keep their existing number, add the new number, start using the number for all of the marketing stuff that you're doing for them because, hey, it just makes sense. Let's use something that has tracking and advanced capabilities when we're spending money on marketing. That makes sense, right? Just get it in there, start showing them what it does. And, anybody in their right mind will then, go, oh, geez, we should start using that number everywhere we stinking can. Still doesn't mean you have to get rid of your old number. And there's nothing to manage. Just keep on taking calls with your old number. No big whoop. Zach, what was the name of your favorite branding book? The Brand Flip by Marty Neumeier. And he's actually got a handful of books that are all fantastic, Zach. I highly recommend all of them. What are your thoughts on free trial period versus money back guarantee or both? So I am a big fan of a service guarantee, and the service guarantee is usually that. So if I'm selling a widget, a digital, information product, something like that, where I don't have any skin in the game to deliver it necessarily, then having a money back guarantee makes a lot of sense. Okay. I still think that you put boundaries on that. All right. I just had a conversation this last week with a customer who, and I'm not trying to pick on him at all, but his position was I should be able to ask for a refund, all the way back to heck and tarnation. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not cool. You still have boundaries around it, but if you are doing a service where you've got skin in the game, I mean, you're putting in work and somebody wants a refund, I have always just had a service guarantee where I say, hey, look, if you are dissatisfied, all we ask is that you clearly communicate to us why and that you give us the opportunity to fix it. And then if we can't fix it, then we'll let you out of your service agreement and or money back guarantee. I would much prefer that you just let somebody out of their service agreement, obviously, than do a money back guarantee. But if somebody is, just has that much conviction that, hey, I want my money back from you, then you probably don't want to fight with them about that either, unless it's like you're just clearly getting taken to the cleaners, right? And then fight. I mean, if it makes sense to you, I don't agree with letting customers screw you. So as an example, if I did a $20,000 project for somebody and then they said, oh yeah, we want our money back, I would never have a money back guarantee on a $20,000 project like that. There's no way. So if I'm selling a $297, hey, spend $297 with us and we're going to make XYZ happen. And if XYZ doesn't happen, you can get your money back. Sure. I would do that for sure. Okay. Trial period is a totally different thing, right? Trial period is a way of getting somebody to take that initial step. I mean, theoretically, having a guarantee, helps somebody take that initial step too. But the trial period really needs to be about demonstrating them proof of the thing during that trial period. Otherwise, the trial period is useless, right? So if you say we're going to offer a 2-week trial period, and then you have that business just sign up for 2 weeks and they don't do anything, or you don't do anything for them during that 2 weeks that they can see, oh yeah, this is really working, then why the point of, what's the point of the trial period, right? So in my opinion, a trial period, you really just need to treat it as it's a customer. And so you need to make sure that they're getting the experience that a customer should get, even though they're not paying you for that 2 weeks. Otherwise, why did you do it? Right. So that would be, my recommendation, is that's how you think about the trial period. And if a trial period of like, hey, we're going to put our customers on high level and give them a trial period, that's worthless. I mean, what is any small business owner going to do with high level if they just log into an account? Like nothing. So you've got to deliver a service during that trial period. Okay. But I think a trial period can absolutely be useful in getting somebody to take that first step. I have almost never used them. I have almost always just used the service guarantee. It's like, hey, let's get started. And if we don't do what we say that we're going to do, give us the opportunity to fix it. If we can't fix it, we'll let you out of the agreement, or we'll give you your money back, or whatever. And actually, let me explain why that is. A couple of reasons. One, when I'm selling services to people where there's some manual effort involved on our part, so I've got a team of people, we're going to be working hard for that customer. I don't want anybody signing up with me that has 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I don't want to work with that kind of customer. I don't. Like the fact that High Level offers trials to the agencies, I don't even like that. I do it because that's what everybody expects. But the fact that the agencies are getting on with a trial, it attracts a bunch of people who are just not serious. They're just looky-loos, and they're not doing anything in the platform once they get that trial. That they, it's really. So I personally don't like offering trials because I like people to do things with conviction and, hey, let's just get going. So I hope that helps. Shouldn't you try to market your own business using the same tools and services you're selling to small businesses? Yeah, but why do you, what is that in regards to? I'm not sure what that's in regards to. I mean, ideally, yes. What link is the training again? I think you're referring to, John, are you referring to High Leverage Agency? Is it the one that I put up that one? So just servicesatscale.com/HLA. Okay. And then if you were referring to how to log into the training, it's courses.servicesatscale.com is how you get access to all the courses. Let's see here. I started my agency by looking at all the businesses where I was a customer, research their online presence, saw what I could help with, give them a fair price. It works. That's awesome. Let's see here. If someone had a service they wanted to offer you, what would be the best way to connect with you? With me personally, definitely content and ads. By far and away, content and ads. 99% of things that I buy because I saw their ads and their content, and then I went down the rabbit hole of, oh yeah, look, that looks cool. Yeah, I think I need that. Oh, let's watch their 7 other videos and read their 3 blog posts, and now I get in touch where I just get online and buy it. No question. I very, 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 very rarely respond to any cold anything. I mean, it's always funny to me to look at, like, if I don't clean out my voicemails. Right now I only have 42 voicemails. It's because I cleaned it out recently. I'll get 300 voicemails, and then I'll usually get some notification on my phone saying it's, you got to delete all your voicemails, and I'll go delete those because those are people cold calling me. I was like, man, I would never, ever, ever answer the phone from somebody who's cold calling me. And I mean, if my mom leaves me a voicemail, it'll be 2 weeks before I hear it, if at all. Absolutely, Zach. Here's the link. Go for it. Good questions, gang. I hope it's helpful for you. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I enjoy these office hours. In fact, I enjoy them so much that in the next quarter, I have decided that I'm going to do these office hours calls every Friday instead of every other Friday, just to make it easier for people to count on. Hey, it'll be there Friday. If I want to ask Mike a question, I can jump on there and do it. So I'm going to start offering them every Friday in the next quarter. So hopefully that's well received. But I enjoy them. I enjoy the interaction, and people come onto these calls and actually engage and get ask their questions and stuff. So I will keep on doing it. Zach, the link is in there. Hopefully you can join us. While we were waiting for Zach, what I was messing around with this morning. Awesome. Thank you, Charles and Linda. Love seeing you guys here. Can't wait to connect in October. While I was waiting for you guys, or waiting for this call to start, I was fooling around with a bunch of AI stuff. It was so much fun. Specifically AI stuff for like designing Instagram posts, YouTube thumbnails, things like that. It was a good time. There's some really cool stuff out there. So Zach, my man, how are you, sir?
Fantastic, man. Thanks. Just building up here, getting ready to rock and roll.
Awesome.
My question was the systems and tools that we're selling, to get the attention of the businesses we're selling to. The idea is that I probably want to use the same system and tools, practice the old systems and tools I'm using to get the business. Is that, Mike? You understand the question? So when I'm marketing,
sure.
Yeah, so I want to be an example versus I don't want to be cold calling like in a business park. Yeah. I mean, I'll do it, but I mean,
if you are somebody that's out there preaching that somebody should do inbound content marketing and then you're cold calling, that's
a conflict.
Pretty sketchy. Yeah, it's pretty sketchy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing follow-up calls.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with all that stuff. But but if you're basing your model off of cold calling and you're selling inbound content marketing as a strategy to the businesses that you're serving, that definitely could be, that's a little bit sketchy. Yes, I think, all of us should be using the tools that we are selling and advocating for sure. Mm-hmm. There are cases where you will use additional tools that you may not offer in your services. So like maybe you don't want to offer LinkedIn advertising as a service, but you do LinkedIn advertising. Well, that's totally fine, right? Doesn't mean you have to offer it as a service. But yeah, when somebody comes to your website and, should there be a welcome mat there? Yeah. And should you be using a call tracking number? Sure.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay,
and
cool.
Yeah. And you should be using them enough that you have the confidence to be able to say, yeah, look, I'm a case study. I use these things every damn day, and here's how they work for me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I think you nailed it there with that last statement. You're not responding. I'm not responding to cold marketing. We got to find people that are raise their hands. We do that through ad. We do that through content marketing. We do that. We're looking for people to raise their hand. Bottom line. And if you can, it's going to take a lot of numbers. But when you find those 10 out of 1,000 that raise their hands, you close 5 of those. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. I mean, there is almost no scenario in today's world, and it's there are still scenarios, but very few and shrinking quickly, where I would suggest that anybody does cold prospecting as their strategy.
Okay.
I mean, it's the reasons to do it are because you don't have the budget to run ads, like okay, that's one thing. Two, if you're selling into a business where they literally are not like online at all, but again, like that's getting fewer and fewer and fewer and further in between. And if you are, I don't know, I mean, maybe you're just terrible at creating content, which, that's possible. Like you're just like, man, I'm just not good at that, Mike. But dude, I can hop on a phone and make 500 phone calls with no problem, and people love to talk to me. Okay, so that could be your thing, and then maybe down the road you hire somebody to do content for you. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
but I think it's the principles of input and output. I mean, like the book, right? This book, right? This
yeah,
great book, right? Just
yeah,
the input and the output. So we want to maximize the output. And if you're taking hours and hours of cold call, you're getting you're going to get very little output for the input you're putting in. So we can leverage that other activity. So that really sealed the deal for me there. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're totally right. I would never ever advocate that anybody builds their business model off of low leverage activities unless like it's a passion for you to do those things yourself. So which is, it's more like a hobby. So as an example, if you said to me, hey, Mike, I want to start a business being the best custom guitar maker on the planet. I love, love, love more than anything to make custom guitars. And as a business person, I would go, well, there is nothing scalable about that, but man, that is awesome. If that's what you love and you can make a living doing it, I think that's very admirable. And if you are aware of the pros and cons of it, and that's still what you want to do, man, that's awesome. Go for it. And you should have a newsletter that, people who love guitars can subscribe to, and you can send out, hey, I have the ability to make one more guitar this quarter, and it's, $40,000. And so you're getting leverage in every way that you can, so that non-leverageable activity that you're doing is your art, and you can spend as much time doing that and making it as perfect as you want to, then awesome, right? But in today's world, if you are, let's say, if you're basing your business off of doing cold calling, okay, which I did, again, for years, I did that. So I'm speaking as somebody with the experience. This is not just me, just talking any BS here. It's an awful model. It's awful. The only people who like to do cold calling for a living are people that have been convinced that they like to do cold calling for a living. I mean, really, honestly, maybe there's some weird small percentage of unicorn of people that they're just like, no, this is just what I love, the grind, 10 hours a day, making calls, like that type of thing. Okay, maybe those people exist. The reality is 99% of people hate it. They hate to be on the receiving end of it. The people who are doing it, that you can keep around doing it, are, again, they've probably just been convinced that it's kind of like their only option to make, whatever money they're making or whatever. And so they just stick with it. They don't think they have any other jobs in their town. I don't know. But here's the thing. All of those reasons that I just gave are all going away so fast. Nobody wants a cold calling job because all the other jobs that are out there are better. And they're actually accessible now because of the internet, and I can live anywhere I want and be working and all that type of stuff. So now you're building your business on having to hire and train and keep people who hate their job. It's just a terrible business to build. There is nothing fun about that. There is very rarely any real upside to that. You're just investing in an outdated, broken, low leverage thing. And why you would choose to spend your next 10 years of your life doing that, no clue. Makes no sense to me. Having examples of ads for free website offered, you mentioned the hosting and the ad. Should I target locally for these ads? Let me go in reverse. Jason, I would recommend targeting After 8 years or so, right, Howard, and me pestering you. Yeah. Jason, do I lump cold emailing in with cold calling? No, Jason, because cold emailing can be automated with, absolutely no cost really whatsoever. So you got to do it right. You can't be all spammy about it. You can't, I'm going to email 100,000 people who've never heard about me in the next minute using, 25 different rotating fake email addresses. Then that's not good. But no, cold emailing is incredibly high leverage. So absolutely, you can go for it. Do I think it's the best way to get business? No. I think content marketing is still the best way, but cold emailing is not bad. Back to this question. Should I target locally for these ads? Jason, I would say that you target the target customers that you are going for, and you adjust your targeting based on that. So in other words, if you said, Mike, I'm doing this for restaurants, and you live in New York City, you've got plenty of restaurants to target right there in New York City. And so I would suggest that you start there and build in your own backyard, just because there's a confidence to it and ease to it, all that type of stuff, than trying to figure out how to do things all over the country. I think that then you could very quickly expand all over the country, but I would just start in my backyard if that's a possibility. If that's not really a possibility, as in the volume, so you're going after, I don't know, chiropractors, and you live in a town of 30,000 people and there's 10 chiropractors, well, then you need to advertise outside of your market as well, right? So you just do what makes sense, but start in your backyard if you can. Do you mention the hosting costs in the ad? I would mention the hosting costs in the ad and or the landing page. Yes. I would not want this to be a bait and switch where I got somebody on the phone and I was like, oh, it's not really for free, right? It's, but I would make that, somewhat of the fine print of the pitch, right? So it would be, Jason, we're going to build you a free, brand new, high performing website based on all these super duper best practices. Normally a $5,000 to design one of these websites, and we're going to charge you absolutely nothing up front. We're going to waive all of those design fees. All you have to do is pay for the hosting after the website is up and running. After you've approved the website, you love it, and it's up and running, all you have to do is pay for our web hosting each month, which is competitively priced with other business web hosting at $97 a month. Like, that's it. There's zero like bait and switchy about it or anything like that. Example ads, yes. And I'm trying to think, Jason, what is included in the marketing packs, but yes, and there's landing page content and all that type of stuff in there. There's email prospecting content, all of that in there. And then I can also point you to other ads as well that I've used that I can't remember if they're in those marketing packs or not, but I can show you what I've done. Okay. What time are we at? I got time. Let's do one more question here, gang. One more question, and then we will wrap it up since we're almost an hour and a half into it. One more question. Let me know what you got. First one in gets it, as long as it's a good one. As long as I feel like I can answer it. What is usually your cost per subscriber when building an email list for a local media newsletter using the giveaway strategy? That's a nice specific question, Ricky. You might like that. My rule is that I never let it go over $1. And I usually, if I'm not closer to 50 cents or even sub 50 cents, I know I've put out a pretty lame offer. And so at that point, I'm making a decision. Do I want to stick with this or not? You know what I mean? Like, as soon as it goes over 50 cents, I'm like, okay, I could probably stop this, put a little bit of effort to come up with a better offer. And so then it's a matter of me just like using my judgment to determine what I want to do there. And what I mean by that is maybe this offer I was only going to promote for another 5 days anyway. And so I'll just let it run. If it was something where it's like I was planning on promoting this for the next quarter and trying to add thousands and thousands of people to my list, and it's over 50 cents, I'm probably stopping it and going, I need to test some things, try a new offer or something like that. If it hits $1 though, I shut it off. Like if it hits $1, I'm wasting money. So I hope that helps you, Rakeem. Awesome. All right, everybody, thank you so much, as always, for being here for office hours. I really enjoy these calls. I really enjoy your questions and interacting with you, and I hope it was helpful for you. And have a fantastic rest of your day and rest of your week. I will be posting on social media pictures of my daughter graduating so that you know that that's what I'm doing tomorrow. But thank you very much again for doing this today instead of tomorrow, and we will be back to our regular schedule here. And everybody have a fantastic rest of your day and rest of your week. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.